Hello. Remember when I said I was gonna let Andrea pick my April TBR?
This is Andrea, and I am here to pick 3 books for Chris's TBR.
Well, that happened, and I actually read those books. And now that it's summer, I decided that I wanted to pick some books for Andrea to read. But I never actually reacted to the ones that she picked. This is what this video is about. And here are my thoughts on each of them, very quick thoughts. So the very first book that I'm going to talk about that she recommended to me, Palimpsest, Documents from a Korean Adoption by Lisa Wool-Rim. And I don't know how to say the second part of her last name. This book, it was actually a graphic novel, one of Andrea's favorites. And I know that her review influenced quite a few other bookstagrammers. It is told from the point of view of Lisa, and it's her journey into figuring out how that happened. Finding her birth mother, birth parents, her past, trying to get this connection to where she's originally from. And the premise sounds very straightforward, but it almost reads like a thriller. The emotional roller coaster that this book put me through was pretty intense. I don't want to say that it doesn't have a happy ending, because I think out of all of the possible outcomes, ultimately it was a lot of positive things happen, and you kind of think about it and you realize, how many other adoptees are in a similar situation and just don't have the resources or tenacity to track down these documents to continue this, what can be a really emotionally devastating personal journey into finding out exactly what were the circumstances of their adoption and what their birth parents are doing now, how their birth parents feel about meeting them. It doesn't sound like, oh, I can't relate to this at all, because it's such a very specific situation. Nevertheless, one of those things where you're really rooting for her to find out, and you feel a lot of the things that, that she is going through. It's just very impactful, the highs and the lows, and just the complicated situation of foreign adoption. Excellent pick. That was my favorite out of all of the 3. I didn't think that I wasn't going to like any of them. I'm just saying. My second favorite was Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. And this was great. I am not the biggest fan of YA, but lately I've been getting some just stellar recommendations. And Elatsoe is on the top of my list. It is fantasy and it is speculative fiction. It takes place in an America that is not our America. And I always love books that explore that concept of an America that could have been. Except there's also ghosts and monsters, and it's got Scooby-Doo vibes. And it's got ace representation. Ellie identifies as asexual. There is a little ghost dog. I can't remember the name of it right now because this was way back in April. I want to say Kirby. The story was great. The setting was great. And this book reads like what I like to say, it reads like butter, where every sentence is good. The story keeps you involved. And also any adult who likes reading speculative fiction that's written for a younger audience, but still can find some enjoyment in that. So it was pretty good. It was my second favorite. My third, which was the last pick, was Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. And now hear me out. It's not that I didn't like it. I just enjoyed it the least compared to the other 2. I know that we've read werewolf books before, but they're just not my bag, baby. I'm just not super sold on werewolf romances. And I think it's that fated mates thing. I always want to have a choice. The reason that I didn't love it as much as I thought I would was because it was so short. It's not that it let me down, it just felt okay, and it didn't really make a super huge, deep impact. Talia Hibbert can do no wrong, I just know that she's done better, and so I prefer a full-length exploration of character as opposed to grumpy werewolf. But yeah, great picks. Excited to tell you what you're gonna read next. Then you'll just have to watch her video where she'll react to what I chose for her for summer.